change. We got to get used to change and don't look at everything like it got to be, because it just don't work. You've got to change with the seasons, the times, and you've got to change with your forest, because your forest is going to change. When you start doing these treatments, they're going to change with you too.
The Acadian forest consists of a blend of softwood and hardwood trees with a total of 32 species in all. Quality improvement silviculture is a term used to describe various practices that improve the growth and quality of high-value, shade-tolerant, long-lived trees. Quality improvement silviculture may be thought of as a type of crop tree management that focuses on shade-tolerant, long-lived species. These high-value species grow extremely well in Nova Scotia when given the right conditions.
Hello, I'm David Sutherland, and I'm the coordinator of Nova Scotia's Association for Sustainable Forestry, which helps woodlot owners carry out silviculture work on their properties. One of the programs that the Association for Sustainable Forestry promotes is the Category 7 or Quality Tree Improvement and Forest Stand Improvement treatment. And under that Category 7, there are 3 subcategories for selection management, for crop tree release, and for crop tree pruning. And this video will give you an idea of how some landowners and contractors are carrying out these treatments on the properties that they're working.
Looking for to take out the poorer quality trees. Also looking for the spacing, the distancing. I'm looking to see what the regen is going to be like in this area. I'm looking for my height classes, different ones. And I'm also looking at, like I said, the diversity of it. I don't want to just leave it at one species or at, I like to have that diversity all over the stand. What you might want and what the stand needs is 2 different things. Every one of my sites I get an opinion on what I should and could do with that site. I always ask, because you don't want to get tunnel vision and think that you got to have it, right? It's nice to have a fresh look, someone come in and look at your stand and have a fresh opinion of it, something new, and that way they're not looking at it from what you want from the stand. They're looking at it from a technical aspect. Maybe they have been around the province and seen them kind of sites, and someone has done work to them and they know what works in them sites, whereas, you're just you're hoping that you're doing the right thing.
I'm Patricia Amiro, and I'm a registered professional forester, and I've had my own private forestry consulting business for about 10 years now, along with my partner, Sandy Hyde, forest technician. That lopsided tree that we're looking at, you can see that it's lopsided towards our left. And basically that's a tree that's certainly vulnerable to weather-related damage, particularly your snow and ice. And really that one may be one to consider taking out now, and the person doing the work fell it so they can control where it goes versus letting nature do it for you, because certainly nature's not as choosy. And I say that to perhaps protect some of the potential crop trees that could be surrounding that lopsided tree. Basically, this spot on the tree here that we're looking at, this is a scar from some previous damage that occurred when this tree was younger. So basically, why I want to point this out is this is a weak spot on the tree that could serve as a variable vulnerable spot for weather-related damage like your heavy snow and ice. If the crown gets loaded up with ice or snow, this is essentially where this tree could crack and basically fall and damage some crop trees that's surrounding it. This is an example of a sugar maple or a tree that will not improve, and I say that because when you look at it right here straight on, you see that seam that's going directly up what we call the bole or the stem of the tree. This is one that you'll also see that it's marked in orange, and that's through our tree marking that we did throughout this site. This is one that's favored to be cut for one main reason, because it will not improve, but another reason, as you see this smaller sugar maple here to your left, this is one that by taking this tree will release this next smaller sugar maple that does have potential to increase its growth and become a better tree. Now, there's a larger sugar maple in behind this sugar maple that's selected to come out that actually will stay, because the idea is you don't want to take out too much too soon because of weather-related damage that may occur. And a good example of some weather-related damage that could occur is this sugar maple here to the right. You could see that this here snapped off about 6 feet up. Basically, that probably had some kind of scar or wound that made it vulnerable to, let's say, heavy snow and ice or those types of situations. So when we go through true marking, we basically select the trees to come out that will not improve, but as well create growing space for some of these other trees, perhaps younger, more vigorous trees, to increase their growth and their quality development. So that's one of the main ideas behind selection management in these Category 7 quality improvement silviculture treatments.
Here we have an example of a cut-to-length operation. This is a mechanical system working within a selection harvest, the Category 7. And as you can see, he's able to maneuver through the trees and do a very good job within this treatment.
Everything can be put to a selection harvest stage. It's just that it might take you a little more time, but it still can be done. Ultimately, you want to set it up that at some point down the road you do it as a selection and get that different, started off getting them different age and height classes in there.
What we want to do is keep 3 or more age classes in here at all the time. That minimizes our disease and wind risks and maintains the forest for wildlife and for diversity. This would be an example of where we worked about 3 years ago. You can tell by the brush and some of the coarse woody debris left behind. To me, this coarse woody debris in the brush is worth more left in the forest than it is piled up along the roads. That coarse woody debris is really important to maintain soil moisture, and it creates a lot of habitat for small mammals and amphibians and salamanders and things, and it is really important.
Throughout this treatment area, we've identified large coarse woody debris such as this piece here. Serves as a great wildlife refuge, and I don't think there's anything living in there right now, but it could very well be. And also the stump that's left behind is serving as sort of a nursery for some young seedlings that have seeded in, and that stump will protect those till those are ready to free to grow on their own. So. And here we have a cavity tree that's been left. It would have otherwise been possibly firewood, but an ugly piece of firewood, and this tree is more valuable left standing for wildlife purposes. We have some cavities up further that different wildlife would use. So we've identified this tree as a cavity tree to leave within this treatment. If it ever poses a problem for growth of other trees, we could girdle this tree and it still serves its purpose as a wildlife tree.
This is an opening that we would have made through on the last rotation, and over there is the big stump where the big guy would have been cut, and this is the result. You've got a small amount of sunlight coming in here that's resulted in all these nice, vigorous, healthy red spruce and hemlock and pine growing. We're always mindful to try to leave the best tree on the sites, and not necessarily the tree that is going to return the highest dollar. This is all about diversity and a nice healthy forest when we're done.
This is a Acadian forest. It's a mixture of maple, oak, white birch, some yellow. Down in the lower parts where there's a little bit of water, there's some ash, there's white pine, the odd red pine, red spruce, black spruce, hemlock, and you'll actually find some white spruce in here, and some juniper down the lower areas too. So it's quite a variety of tree species in this area, and you'll see that it has a nice mossy bottom to it, and that's one of the aspects that I found. If I clear cut this here with the moss on the bottom, I never got my regen back. But now where it's partly shaded and its moisture is kept in here, I get lots of regen coming up through that moss, instead of having it burnt off and taking a lot of years to come back.
Here we've got a whole mix of ground vegetation, including there's some starflower, gold thread, and some different types of mosses. And mixed in with it, we've got some blueberry. We've got some red spruce, and we've even got some hemlocks mixed in. So we've kept all this intact, whereas in an open cut system, that stuff would be burned off and disappear. So for landowners interested in those values, it's a great benefit.
This will replace this down the road. And that's what you look for. I have a habit of, when I cut a tree down, I'll actually look around the stump to see if I have little seedlings coming up. Because in my mind, I like to have at least 2 or 3 or 4 around so that I know through disease and choice that one of them will actually make it up through. Because that tells me that what I'm doing is right. I did the right treatments, and my kids, after I'm gone, this will be their legacy, these here. Most sites that you go to, is especially a natural regen site that's been done and grown for 40, 50 years, there's actually quite a different diversity of age, height already in that stand. It's just, you go in and you try to maintain your age differences and your height differences when you're also doing your selection harvest, because they're already there. Like if you look around here, there's all different sizes, all different heights, and that was here naturally. And it come up naturally because your seed base is being put down on the soil every year, so it's not like it's just growing up from year 1 all the same. 10 years, you've got 10 different age classes on that site. 20 years, you've got 20 different age classes on that site because the seed's being put down every few years. If I do see a really good seed tree, whether it should come out or not, I do not take it out. Because I do look up, I had a couple yesterday when I was in here, the tops are just full of seed. And I wanted to cut it, but that's my seed base. I see that it got a lot of seed onto it, so I just left it stand for a seed base. Yeah, because sometimes we have to leave stuff stand whether we want to or not, just for the sake of the future.